your Irontrader, and it is Tuesday morning. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look here at the NQ, which is up about 90. And then we'll take a look at the euro versus the US dollar, and then the US dollar versus the old yen. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Now, you can see here how we had this sideways consolidation, making a nice high there of that 121,255. Couldn't get above it, so we couldn't attack that 123,615. Then on last Friday, we had that big sell-off here. Now what we have is it's almost like a bear flag situation, but not really, okay? So we got to just kind of watch this level, okay? So what we're watching is today we got this low of 114,155. Yesterday, have a low of 114,300. Okay, so we are just a little bit lower, but what the level we're watching is going to be right here. It's going to be this 113,440 level. We lose that, we'll come to the top of this candle. You're looking at 112,590. And then we can do is come to the bottom of that candle at 110,880. But what we're really looking for is this 111,142 level. Okay, that's going to be before we hit the bottom of that candle. Okay, that's going to be very, very key. Now, on the upside, you can see here where this 8-day is sitting at 116,935, and we have 117. So far, this 8-day is now crossing over the 21-day, and that is not good. Okay, that's not bullish. So this is going to be very, very strong resistance. So you're going to be looking at 116,935, and then we're going to be looking at that 117.03. That's going to be very, very key. Now, if we can get above that level, then what we do is we come to the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 118,295, and then we're going to be looking here for this tweezer top at that 119,785. Then we just work yourself up 124.15, and then you retest 121,255. But this is going to be very, very strong resistance. I just don't like the way you have this red candle, and then we have this easing up. That could be a very good bear flag situation, and we come down and we hit that 50 SMA here. So really, what we really want to watch is we want to watch yesterday's high, that 116.315. That's going to be very, very key. And then we come like 116.935, and then we have 117. Now, if we get above this, that would negate any kind of a bear flag situation, and we would take it higher. Now, like I say, on the downside here, we really want to watch the bottom of that candle, that 113,440 level, and then we want to watch the top of that at 112,590. Then you have your 50-day. Now, we look here. This is nice. You know how this gap is filled, okay? That's always a very good situation, but I just don't care for that, and I don't like where the green now crossed over red. That shows momentum to the downside. We're only sitting at 51, so that isn't really too bad, but let's just see how this is all going to shake out here. So don't have any opinion, you know, and as far as the long, this is a trading situation until we can get back above that 8-day and that 21 simple moving average. Now, we look at a weekly chart here. Well, let's just see the weekly. Now, we're holding this 8-day, and that's very, very critical that we need to do on a closing basis. If that's lost, then we're going to come to, which is, what is that? 113,221, okay? So right here, you have 112,345. That would be next, and it would come to the top of that candle, 110,150. Then we'll come to the top of that candle at 108,960. And we'll come top of there at 105,325, and then we have your 102,539, which is your 21-day. Now, you can see it got to a little bit overbought condition, but you can see it's still on a weekly basis very, very strong as long as we hold that 8-day. Green is over your red, shows momentum to the upside, but on a weekly chart, still very, very bullish situation, okay? You see how nicely that 50-day held? Very, very, and this could come all the way down to that 21, this could come all the way down to that 50-day, and you still would have a very bullish chart on the weekly, okay? Now, but again, today we just want to watch on the upside that 8-day, that 21-day. It's going to be very, very key on a closing basis, and then possible, I say, bear flag situation here, but just to be a little bit careful where you start losing the bottom of that candle at 113,440, then we're going to be headed right for that 50-day at 111,142 level. Okay, take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold, here we have silver. Now you can see here sideways action had a little good, a nice little run here, but you notice that it couldn't really get up to that 34.51 level. So yesterday got as high as 34.39. And today we got 34.35. So we got a little bit inside of a day situation. So yesterday at 34.39, what you're looking for is this 34.47. Couldn't quite get there. And then the retest at 34.51 level. Now, that's what we really need to do. So watch yesterday's candle at 34.49, and then we can just venture up. Your big target would be that 34.51. We get above that right there, and that very nice 34.68, and then 34.76. Those are going to be your upside targets. Again, we crack that, and then we have right here 35.09. Okay, so that is going to be your target. But right now, you can see just a sideways kind of an action situation. Okay, now what we have here, we want to watch yesterday's low. Okay, that is going to be that 33.97 level. So you can see right here. See where we have this 33.89. See how we hit it here once. Okay, we got twice and we got 3 times. That's going to become very, very good support now at 33.89. So that's what we're really watching. And obviously, if we lose that, then we come down. We have the 8-day. What are we sitting at? 33.69, and then we have your 50-day, 21-day, 33.61 level. That's going to be very key. However, now you can see this where we have a low, higher low. You can see how we have a nice uptrending chart. Let's just see if it can hold it. But realistically, you got to get and close above that 34.51 so we can attack that 34.76 level. So this could be a little bit patient here, but right now what you're trading is this range at 34.51 and that 33.60 level right down here where you have your 8, your 21-day, and your 50 SMA. Now, you're only sitting at 54. That could go either way. Your green is still over your red. Very, very bullish chart here on the gold situation. We have a low, higher low, higher low, higher low situation. We've got to see how this all shakes out, but you have very, very strong resistance. So just watch that price channel, 34.51. Very, very key. The next one, and then we have the next one, okay? Downside, that 8-day, everything is going to be very, very key. But really watch this right there, this level, this 33.89 level. That's going to be very, very key for how many times that we hit it and we couldn't get through it on the upside. And now, again, that can provide very, very nice support. Okay, we have the silver. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. When you have that 8-day that crosses over that 21-day, it provides very, very strong resistance now, okay? So what we have here is we had this negative divergence going on here, and you can see how it dropped off. We had negative divergence here, and then you can see where it dropped off, and then we had this bear flag. See, this is what I was talking about, like on Bitcoin. You had a possible, okay? So we didn't know how this was going to play out, but once we start losing this, the bottom of that candle, then she just came right on down. Now we're holding this 50-day very, very nice, but again, you can see how strong that 8-day is. So on the upside, you're watching 37.61. That's your first target. Then 38.10. We get above that, then we can come up to the 38.42 level. You have 39.52, 39.66, and then you retest that 39.91. But we got to get above and close above that 8-day and that 21-day in order to do that. Downside, this 50-day is going to be very, very critical on a closing basis, 36.73. Then what all we do is follow that candle, the price channel at 36.28 level. Then we can come down to the bottom there at 35.58, and then we have 35.19, and then we have your 100-day, and then we have your 200-day, obviously below that. But let's just see how this shakes out here. This 8-day is very critical, but when you get a cross like that, that's not good. And when you get a cross like this, that shows momentum down to the downside when that green crosses over that red. Be very, very careful. Now, I'll be looking for trades if we come down, hold that 50-day, then I will jump in back in that SLV, and then we can take it back up to the 8-day. Or I buy in strength. If we can get above that 8-day and 21-day, then I'll jump back in the SLV, and we'll take maybe to that 39.91 level. Okay, let's take a look at crude oil and natural gas. All right, now remember, the API report for crude oil will be out today at 4:30. All right, now here's what we got. Okay, we had a really nice run up, but OPEC had that meeting. And now it looks like they're going to add another 547,000 barrels here come September. That's per day. Okay, so you are actually flooding the market. They want to recoup that 2.2 million barrels that they took off the market. So Saudi Arabia is really looking for market share. They're not really looking at the price at this moment. Okay, so what we have here, we topped out at that 70.51. You couldn't get through there. Then we put this nice series of lower highs and lower low. Now, the key is going to be this 21-day and holding this on a closing basis. Simple reason is this. Now, you look at here, look like birds on a wire, couldn't get through. But look how nice, once we got over, how it held that support. So that's going to become very, very good support. You got to respect it, 65.06. We lose that, and we come down 64.71. But this is what we're looking for at the bottom of this bear flag situation. That's 64. Okay, now we lose that. Well, then we're going to come all the way down here. You got 62.17. You got 59.74. We come down here at 57. You come down here all the way down to 55 level. So if that's what you want to really, really watch, this 64 level is going to be very, very critical. But right now, you have that 100-day, which is going to be key. Now, on the upside, we have that 50-day, which is going to be very strong, 66.52. Your 21-day, 67.09. And then we have that 8-day, 67.51. And then we have 67.96. So you have a lot of resistance. All your SMAs, your prices below, except for that 100-day. So if you lose that 100-day, then we're going to retest that 64, and then we have to see what the reaction is. If not, we could head right down into the high 50s. Now, it's going to need a catalyst to go higher, so we don't know how, the hurricane season is going to kick in. Right now, I haven't seen any kind of storms or anything that I track. So we got to see how that's going to shake out. So realistically, today on the upside, watch the 50-day. We get above that. You got strong resistance at your 21-day and your 8-day and your 200-day. Downside, this 100-day is going to be everything on a closing basis. You lose that, 64 is going to be your target, and then we just venture all the way on down. Now, sitting at 45, there's nowhere near that's overbought or oversold. Your green is trying to go over your red. We have a nice, good downtrend. But again, let's just see if this area will hold kind of situation. Okay. Now, natural gas, you can't get off the ocean, right? Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about when that 8-day. See how that 8-day? Look at that. Boom, into it. Above it, couldn't get through it. Above it, couldn't get through. Indecision, nothing. Look at here. All the way on down, and we made that low of 289. Now, okay, so when we look at that 2.89, this is your next level that you can be looking for is roughly that 2.858. Call it 2.86. That's going to be your next thing on the downside. But okay, see, that's right here. Now, if you lose that, we got targets all the way down here. See what we got there? Okay, so you got a 2.75 level. Okay, we have 2.64. We have 2.63. Come down here, you got 2.46 level, and we can get racket all the way down to 1.87. Okay, so right now, it's not what you call in play as far as the old natty gas. Now, on the upside, went the wrong way. Okay, the upside, we're watching this 8-day. You can see how strong that resistance is. Okay, so right there, looking at 305, we get above that when we be looking for the top of this candle at 311, and then we have 313. But this is the area that we'll be watching is that 318 level. You get above that, we have that 324. Now, we get above that, we come up there 333, and then we'll be headed for that 50-day at 344, and then we have that 200-day. But look at this, okay, 8-day. 21-day, 50-day just crossed the 200-day, 100-day. Nothing bullish about this chart, okay? Nothing, okay? Solid downtrending action, high, lower high, lower high, lower high situation. Solid downtrending. However, now we're getting to the bottom situation here. We are not oversold, okay? No, we're not oversold here yet. But again, this is just a trader's market. We look to the bottom of yesterday's candle at that 289. If you lose that, you're going to go 286, and then you go down in them 270s, 260s. Now, upside, this 8-day is going to be absolutely everything. We get above it, then we can start maybe marching to that 21-day, 50-day, 200-day. But right now, this is just a trader's market. There's nothing here. This is very, very bearish on the chart, the same way with the crude oil. Okay, now we're going to take a look here at that euro versus US dollar and the euro versus the old yen. Okay, here we have the euro against the dollar and the euro against the yen situation. Now, you can see here how we had a really good run up. Look how nice and bullish this was all the way here. And then what we do is we pretty much put a double top in there. See how that 1.189, 1.17. See how we have that double top, and then she's just falling right on off. However, we're holding that 100-day, and that's going to be very, very crucial on the downside. But now we look at this 8-day. See what I'm saying? When you have that crossover, then you're fighting it the whole situation. Now, when we look at this nice green candle, look at pull, okay, and then we have the candles off of this. This could be a possible bull flag building, okay, possible, okay, that's what I'm saying. So you got to watch it out for a couple of days. Now, if we can get above that, then you're going to be attacking right there at that 1.16 level, and then we're going to be coming all the way up here. We can follow these candles up, but that's going to be your target. Is going to be that one test of 1.17 and then 1.18, okay, so that's going to be up on the upside. Now, the downside, we have to really hold is going to be this 100 SMA level. This is going to be very, very crucial on a closing basis. Now, if that is lost, well, so you can see how much support that there is going even right across, not only just the 100-day. If that's lost here, we can come all the way down to the bottom there at that 1.1209, and we can come down and retest this 110 level, and then we come all the way down here to that 109 level. But we got to see here, you have to lose the 100-day in order to do that. Now, you can see here on the MACD how it comes all the way on down. We didn't get to an oversold condition, but you came pretty close. But when you see this, see how we have an overbought situation, then what it is, it just declined right on off of that, and then we kind of like a double top situation, and then came right on down. So you got to be a little bit careful on this whole situation. But again, if this bull flag develops, then we can definitely attack that 21-day and re-attack that 1.17, possibly 1.18. But let's just see how this all shakes out. The downside is just watch this 100-day. That's going to be very, very crucial. If not, we're going to just come to the bottom of these candles all the way on down, okay, until we hit that 200 SMA. That's going to be very, very crucial. However, when you see this situation where we're almost at the bottom, this is going sideways action, okay, and the same way with here, we had a nice good run up, okay, with this candle, but let's just see if we can build a bull flag here to get this rallying up higher. So be a little bit patient with that. Okay, US dollar here versus the old yen. Now, when we look at the overall chart, okay, you can see here how we just pretty much topped out in the game all the way down and all the way on down, and then we have this sideways consolidation. Now, always look at the consolidation. Is what that does is that builds energy, and then once it builds, it then breaks right on up. Okay, now you can see here where they broke above the 200-day, but look at this big ass red candle. Okay, that is not good. And now we're just trying to fight it. So upside, what you want to watch is that 147.74. That's your 21-day. And then 148, that's going to be very key. But the one that's going to matter is going to be this 149. Even though you got above it, you couldn't hold that area for long. Okay, basically 1 day, and then she came right on off. So 149.51 is going to be very, very crucial. Above that, we have that 150 on 91 level. Now, when we're looking right across, if you can get above that, then we have right here, okay, looking at 150, 120, and then all we do is just take these price channels and come right across, 152.30, we can have 154.66, and then you just keep following all the way on up. But right now, what we have is this, you got a nice solid consolidation, and we have this nice series of higher highs and this series of higher lows situation. That's always very, very bullish. But we really want to watch is that 21-day, that 8-day, and that key 200-day is going to be crucial on a closing basis, and then we could attack that 150.91. Now, on the downside, you can see where you had the 50-day, crossed over that 100. That's 145.87. That's going to be very, very crucial on a closing basis, the same way with the 100 SMA. If you lose that, then we can come right to the bottom there. You're looking at 144.21, and then we come down here, 142.67, and we're going to retest this area, which should be very, very strong. As you can see how it came down, held it up, held it up, held it up, and then held it, and we're making like a higher high. So that this is going to be a very, very strong area. So this is what you're going to be watching, the bottom of that candle, that 142 level. If not, then we're going to come right down to retest that 139 level. But right now here, the chart looking very, very good here, as long as we can get back above that 21-day, that 8-day, and attack that 200-day. Now, you look at the RSI, well, let's just say you're sitting at 51. That's got plenty of room to run. We're sitting at the top here on the momentum, but again, we're sitting here very, very nice with this consolidation. So always look at this when you see this consolidation. Now, it can break to the downside too, but when you have this consolidation that builds energy, and when she breaks, she usually breaks up higher. It's surprising that it came all the way back down again, and you lost all that juice, and now you have to try to rebuild it. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here midday trading. We'll take a look at some stocks. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.